Listen up, get ready, I'm not gonna take no more. There's a revolution, a revelation going on in my soul. Buckle up, get ready, we're not gonna sit back.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to a little bit more of Live from the Heartland for the week of August 19th. And this week, our new mayor, Brandon Johnson, fired Dr. Allison Arwady, who was commissioner of Chicago Department of Public Health. And it made me think of someone who knows a lot about what's going on in Chicago politics, a longtime friend of this show, the one and only host of Hitting Left on the Lumpen Radio, one of our sister stations. It's the one and only Michael Klonsky. Good morning to you up in Michigan.
Good morning to you, Michael. Yeah, I'm up here in Three Oaks, Michigan, watching my granddaughter ride horses out here at this horse farm I'm at.
You know, that's the one thing in my old age I want to do is be around horses again. I miss them.
This is a great place out here. I forget the name of the place, but we just drove out this morning to try to see her on horseback, and she's having a ball out here.
Well, I really thank you for coming on. We don't have a lot of time, but I thought you could fill us in a little bit on what do you think of the mayor's first 100 days and the new city council?
Well, it's too early to give them a grade or to give the city council a grade because they really haven't had much time to do anything. I'm a fan of Brandon Johnson and voted for him against the evil Mr. Vallis. And Brandon's talking a good game. I like what he's saying about not persecuting young people, but rather providing some meaningful activities for them. And he's going to have to figure out what to do about this crime, the crime issues, because, in a way, I mean, he has some responsibility for attacking the former mayor for not solving the crime problem. But it became fashionable in big cities everywhere to blame mayors, especially black mayors, and especially black women mayors, for not ending crime in their cities, and of course, and gun violence, and of course, a lot of that was out of their control. Because so much of it depends on stopping the flow of guns into the cities, and that's something that needs federal assistance and federal support. So to put it all on the cities and on the mayors was a bad move. But now Brandon Johnson's got to live with that, and a lot of other things too that they attacked Lightfoot for. Now it's coming back on him, including how the press is treating him. I think the kid gloves are off. And for example, his firing, as you mentioned, of Dr. Arwady, who I'm a big fan of Dr. Arwady. I mean, she was a hero to me. Led us through one of the, worst crisis in memory, health crises with the pandemic. Letting her go, and especially letting her go the way that they did, really demeaning her and not giving her any props or credit, or even meeting with her. It was not right what they did. But the main thing that worries me, Michael, is that this way of running the city based on political agreement, like if all Brandon Johnson would say is that he had disagreements with Arwady, political disagreements, but dealing with COVID, it's not a matter of political agreement or not political agreement. It's a matter of scientific understanding of how you deal with pandemics. I should say polemics. Yeah, we want to talk about pandemics, not polemics, when it comes to that. And Arwady had all this great experience in Botswana and other African countries in dealing with the Ebola crisis. She was a big help there. And to let her go over political differences, or because she was a holdover from the previous administration, is sets a very dangerous precedent for this administration. And you just hope that the people around him are going to be not just picked because they agree with Brandon Johnson or with the CTU leadership politically, but have some competence some understanding of the the crisis ahead.
Do you,
And
Mike?
Yeah.
Do you think that his main reason for letting her go was that she had wanted to open the schools and the CTU was opposed to that?
Well, I mean, that shouldn't be a factor. Yeah, I mean, I do think that, but if they had a disagreement over opening the schools or closing the schools, I mean, it turns out I think that she was right about that. It turned out to be the right thing to do. But whether that's that was based on what we knew at the time about how to deal with the pandemic. But you can't criticize her intents or her knowledge. The decisions that she made, first of all, it was the mayor who decided that. She gave advice to the mayor. That's what the Department of Health does. And she gave advice based on the CDC's recommendations and upon what we knew at the time. And I'm afraid that the CTU leadership at the time was basing its approach on politics, on anti-Lightfoot policy. Whatever. I think if Lightfoot would have said close the schools, they would have said open the schools. And I really sincerely believe that they were out to get Lightfoot from day one. And it's unfortunate. It was unfortunate for them, for the labor movement, and it still is. I think that kind of sectarian, narrow political approach to running a city is not good for the city, and it may be a political victory for Stacey Davis Gates or for the union or for but I'm not interested in that. I'm more interested in what are we going to do when the next crisis hits, and it will hit the next health crisis.
It'll be interesting to see how he follows up. I don't know if he's made any statements yet about why he fired her. And the way
he has. He said I had political disagreements with her.
Yeah.
And that's all he would say. And the other thing
this is rough for him. I mean, a lot of people who like him are a little concerned, and we'll have to see how he comes down on it, what he does. Let me shift, because we do have a limited amount of time left.
Sure.
And I'm wondering about Chicago, you and I have been involved a long time with our criticisms of the police. I always root for the police when they're doing good. I think we need a good, solid police department rooted in its connections to people in the neighborhoods. We have a new superintendent of police, Mr. Snelling, or Officer Snelling. What do you got on that?
Well, I don't know much about Snelling. I know that he's an insider, which is interesting because the CPD has been very slow in responding positively to the mandates, set by the federal government, the consent decree, in other words.
Yeah.
And I would think that they would need, that they wouldn't pick somebody on the inside who's been partly responsible for that foot dragging on the consent decree. But I don't know Snelling personally, of course, except he might know me and you, because he was the head of the anti-terrorism department. And I'm not sure that's what we need at the head of the police department right now.
Well, we'll see. He did the progressives, I don't think are going to criticize the mayor, but the more conservative elements on the council were there when he announced the new hiring. And they
like him.
The Friends of the Fraternal Order of the Police, which is led by a pretty right-wing guy, they were supportive of this new appointment too. So I'm waiting to see.
Well, you know what? I wonder what a big difference it makes. Who's the superintendent? I don't know that the last superintendents really had big influence on how the police acted on controlling, police violence or what have you. So I say, we'll let them see how it works out. So I don't particularly have an opinion one way or another on this guy. I'm leery. I'm leery of police superintendents in general, and which I'm sure you are too, given our history. But I just say wait and see. I'm not really that concerned about Snelling versus
Well, Mike
somebody else.
Klonsky,
Yeah.
you got any comments on the governor, Governor Pritzker today? He vetoed the bill that would have allowed to build nuclear power plants again. I tend to like the guy. You got any quick comments
Yeah,
on
me
the governor?
too. No, he's doing a good job. He gave a hell of a stem winder speech out at the state fair yesterday,
Yeah.
and tore a new rear end in all the Republican in
Yeah, he
honor.
basically
And
said we got to go after the Republicans. We got to, really challenge them a lot more. I like that.
I'm glad to hear that. And who knows, he may end up running for president. We don't know, what's going to happen with
Not out of
the
the
health of our
question.
current with the health
A
of our
guy
current
in the
president.
locker room, a guy at the McGaw Y, who I know, he's right on a lot of stuff. He predicted that he would be the candidate. We'll see. Let me ask you finally to share a little information about your show, Hitting Left, on Lumpen Radio, that you do every week, just like we do Live from the Heartland every week. You do that, and our friend Thorne Dreyer does Rag Radio every week. We got a few of these kind of progressive shows around town. Share with our listeners about yours. You got 2 minutes.
Well, quickly, I mean, like, for example, this week, I'm going to I have some really interesting guests. Pigeon Pagonis, who's an intersex activist. She's going to be our guest. I shouldn't say she, they are going to be our guest.
Yeah, you got to be careful, Mike.
I got to start getting these pronouns right, and I'm going to try my best to do it, Michael. And I apologize for that last slip up. Pigeon is going to be our guest, and we're going to be talking about LGBTQ, trans, and intersex is a unique area there. And so tune in to hear that. And also, Curly Boo Johnson. I don't know if you know who Curly Boo Johnson is, but former Globetrotters, Harlem Globetrotters star. He was the great dribbler on the Globetrotters for 18 years, and he's been very active in working with young people, using basketball as a way to get at them and to educate them. So I'm going to be talking to Curly about the Globetrotters, a little bit about basketball and politics. About
Mike, what station are you on? What station are you on, and what time? And is it rebroadcast anyway?
Yeah, WLPN 105.5 FM in Chicago, and streaming live every Friday, 11 to noon Chicago time, on lumpenradio.com. And then you can, if you miss that, you can get it, download the podcasts on libsyn.com or iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from.
Well, it's great having you, Mike. And I want to let you know that you're not the only SDS person on the show. I'm on the show, too. That would be Students for Democratic Society. And another one of our guests, we got a representative, Liz Rathburn, from the new SDS, talking about the Tampa 5 and SDS. And I did say that I'd love to meet with the new SDS people, and you probably would, too. Let's maybe do it together.
Sounds good, Michael. Great talking with you.
All right, and don't get caught under any hoofs from those horses up there. Sometimes they'll step on.
I'm gonna try not to step in the horse poop.